Good morning, everyone. Happy, beautiful Thursday. It is a beautiful day outside. It's nice and it's sunny. It's a great day to go outside for a walk. To take advantage of this beautiful weather. It's very nice outside. Today is gonna be one of the hottest days this week. It's gonna be in the 80s. There's no rain. It's just a nice day. It's just beautiful. So today is a day that most of us, if not all of us, will never forget. Today is September 11th. It was just only 24 years ago that September 11th happened. And as I was watching the news this morning and they were talking about September 11th, I started to think about where was I? What was I doing? Where was everybody? And I just started to think about it and reflect on it. Because I don't think at that point no one believed that what was happening was actually taking place. And as I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I had a brand new baby. I mean, she wasn't brand new, but she was born in January and September 11th happened. She was not even 1 year old yet. Good morning, Ambassador Dolea. She wasn't even 1 year old yet. And I remember when that happened, I was at home with her because she was still a baby. And my husband at that time was supposed to go to school at DeVry University. And for whatever reason, I don't think he went, right? Because that's like Long Island City. And, things like that when something like that happened, it creates a lot of panic. And I remember just watching it on TV, seeing a plane hit the tower, and another plane hit there, another plane crashed there. So it was just a lot of chaos. And I as they're sharing it this morning, remembering the many lives that were lost on that day. So today I want to take a moment to send my condolences to all the family who suffered major loss, and to all of you. I'm pretty sure most of us, if not all of us, lost something that day, right? Because it's 24 years later, we're still talking about it. 24 years later, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's the same age as my daughter. I can't believe that it's been so long, because time just simply flies. But from then, what have we done differently to prevent certain things from happening, to keep us safe, to keep the American people safe, to keep our children safe? And I think day by day, we are more fearful. We don't know. There's a lot of political instability. It's a lot of crime. A lot is happening. Just watching the news this morning, seeing that gentleman that Kirk, I believe his name is, being shot in plain view in front of a lot of young people at a college university. Things like that makes us question, how safe are we? How safe are we? How safe are our children when they are at school? How safe are we when we get on a flight? How safe are we when we go to sleep and, being in our own home? So there's so many things that are questionable in regards to our safety. But what can we do? Charlie. Yeah, that was his name, right? So it's just so much going on in the world that And, you know, even watching TV, you see all these emergency preparedness commercial. Because I was watching one that Mayor Eric Adams did. He's promoting on TV, and I think I've seen it on Facebook or TikTok, that the New York City emergency backpack, that he's telling everyone what you should have in the emergency backpack, which is something that I talked about, telling everyone to always have an emergency bag. And he went into details what you should have, you know, like enough supplies for a week, unperishable food, flashlight, an emergency phone, a portable charger for your phone, your important documents, and cash, enough cash in case something happens you cannot get to the banks. You know, so he said it, I think he's promoting it in the context that we live in New York City. If there's a flood, you know, because there's been a lot of flooding in New York City, so he's using it in that context. But I think it's a lot deeper. I think it's a lot deeper than that. And if you guys remember, I remember in the beginning of the year when we talk in our morning show, when I did the morning talk, we were talking about investments, and I was telling people to hold off on investing in certain things because you don't know what was going to happen until after the 120 days of the president being in office. We see a lot of things happen within that 100 days, and a lot is still happening. There's a lot of instability. We're talking about tariffs that cause the stock market to be edgy, that cause it to be unstable. We're talking about food, right? Being more expensive. I think food is more expensive than ever. And because there's no control, there's no one controlling that market. And I think with all the tariffs and all the immigration issue, it's causing things to become more and more expensive every day. What else? Yeah, we did talk about that. We talk about safety, right? And then of course we woke up one morning, there was the attack on what's that country? It'll come back to me. I was just talking about that with Ambassador Doyle. There was the attack, and we still don't know what could happen next, how they're gonna retaliate, what their response is going to be. You know, because they might be pretending that they're not gonna do anything. They might be taking their time, and you know, just like Pearl Harbor happened, just like September 11 happened, just like so many other attacks happen, and then you just wake up one morning and you don't know what could happen next. So that's why it's important, okay? So we should not take certain things lightly, especially when you see them promoting them, they're repeating them over. There's something that they know that the general public, that we do not know. If you see somebody promoting emergency preparedness, you should have this, you should have that, you should have these things readily available, you should have emergency plan with your family. We also talk about having an emergency plan with your family, because God forbid something happen and there's no network connection, there's no cell towers. How do you intend on communicating with your family? What is your emergency plan? Where is your point of contact if everybody was to be displaced? What is the plan that you have with your family so you all can be brought back together? You can be united. So I think in this day and age that we all should be having these conversations, especially if you see them talking about certain things over and over. When you hear them telling you, have an emergency bag, have emergency preparedness, have emergency medication, have cash in hand, have this and that. There's things that being talked about that we are not aware of. Okay, so pay attention to what's going on around you, what's going on in the world. Who thought 24 years later we'll be talking about September 11? Who thought that something like that could happen here, right in the heart of the city, right? Many lives lost. And some of us, we live in key states that are always on high alert. So if you do live in one of those states, you have to pay attention to your surrounding. You must pay attention to what your local officials are saying on TV, or what other people are saying, but reliable source, not the type of people who just saying things just to cause you stress or to make you anxious, to worry you, but the reliable sources telling you certain things. Don't just take it just for face value, because usually there's more to it than what they're telling you. Okay, so as we remember those who lost their lives, we also want to thank those who came together, who sacrificed themselves, who came together to help those in dire need at that time, to try to save as many lives as possible. So we also want to give thanks or show gratitude for those who went there day after day, night after night, working to try to save as many people as they could. And some of these people today, even 24 years later, some of them have passed, some may still be alive, but they are living with certain conditions due to the exposure from that site. So we must remember them also, give them, show them gratitude, tell them we appreciate them for the work that they do, or the work that they did at that time to save as many people as they could. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight that briefly, and then we can move on to the next part. Of course, we have been Gary. That's what America is all about, Ambassador. Remember the imperialism facing tough enough difficulties, decisions these days. Yeah, I mean, this is the new world, I guess, that we're in. But except now, with social media, more is being exposed, right? With social media, people, those who wants to learn, because not everyone wants to learn, not everyone wants to hear about it, and those, some of us who hears about it, but we're like, oh yeah, whatever, it's fake news. They don't want to accept it, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to believe it until something happens. They have to say, I must see it to believe it. Seeing is believing. If they don't see it right in front of them, they don't believe it. Even if you're telling them, you're saying you must take cautions, you must do this, you must do that, because we have this, I guess, this mentality. We're in a safe place. America is safe. Nothing can happen here. No one can do this, because we are this great nation. But they always said, you don't ever see somebody pulling a green mango from a tree. It's always gonna be the ripe mango. So if we truly believe America is this good, is this great, it will be a target. But anything that is that good, that is that great, is always a target. Now, is America a target because it's that good, it's that great, or people who have been hurt for years, for decades, wants to stand up and fight back and claim what is rightfully theirs, right? So we have to think about all of that. And even if you believe or you think that you are in a great city, in a great protected country, that should not prevent you from taking safety measures, from having an emergency preparedness, because every day the alerts are higher and higher and higher, right? We don't know it because we are civilians. There's certain things they're not gonna tell us because guess what? They don't want to create a panic, right? If they say, well, today we think this and that gonna happen, what's gonna happen? It's gonna create a panic. They don't want the country to stop moving. And sometimes, not even sometimes, because the continuity of the country is based on the sacrifice of others, right? Can you imagine if they put an alert out there and everyone's saying they're staying home, they're not going to work? What's going to happen? People are not going to show up in the hospitals. The patients are not going to have any care, or those who are already there are going to be mandated to stay to work because no one else is coming, or a lot of schools will be shut down. Things will come to a halt, right? And we know what it looks like during the pandemic when the country came to a halt. Like when, let's speak specifically to New York State, right? Or to New York City, rather, right? Because I remember living here in New York City, how it was like a ghost town, because I went to work every day. There wasn't a day that I stayed home during the pandemic until that. Then I became ill. That's when I was at home. But I was out every day. I saw the empty streets. Yeah, I saw the empty streets. So they do not want to create a panic. So they're gonna tell you as little as possible to keep the country moving. And this is what it is. But again, this is why it's important to have conversations with your family, to have an emergency plan in place. God forbid something was to happen. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen later. Right? The same thing with Haiti. Had I known the earthquake was going to happen that day, I would have told my family, make sure you find somewhere safe. Don't stay inside the house. Don't do this. Don't do that. Although I had a dream, but I didn't get it. I didn't get the dream until I was at work and someone said, do you know what just happened? Did you hear what just happened in Haiti? And I'm like, what just happened in Haiti? And then that was when I realized the whole thing, what was happening. Right? And that's when the panic set in, because you have family, you have friends. There was no communication. You don't know how to get in touch with people. You don't know what was happening. So if you ever been to that situation, if you ever live this type of situation, that gives you more reason to think about, how do I plan for an emergency? What do I need in case of an emergency? There's certain things that will happen you have no control, but there's certain things, whatever the situation is, that you may not have any control. But once you're starting to see what's happening, you need to have a plan and let it kick in and say, I need to do X, Y, and Z. This is what I had in place. Because when we are organized, okay, I guess having a plan in place will help you to be organized, because when chaos happens, your mind is all over the place because you don't know what to do next. But if you do have a plan in place, you'll be like, okay, this is the plan that I have, and hopefully everybody will stick to the plan, and then you execute that plan, right? I guess, right? So again, be safe. Be supportive of one another. Be supportive of each other, and lend a hand where it's needed, so that we can push forward. We can push forward. All right. Yeah. So that was Ambassador d'Orléans' point. Okay. In the message there. What else? We've been talking about recently we've been talking about humanitarian help. There's many people around the world who needs your help. I've been launching an SOS for people, for those of you who can, to lend a hand, because we have about 10 families in Haiti who reach out for help, and this is what we're talking about again. Due to the political instability in Haiti, a lot of people have been displaced, left their homes. One day they're here, the next day they're there. There's no work for most of them, or a majority of the country is unemployed. And we have family reaching out. They're not my family. I've never met them. So I'm not coming here to ask for my own family. I'm asking for people who has no resources, no one to help them, and they reach out for help. So if anyone watching this video and God put it in your heart to lend a hand to help, just reach out to Society in Action. I'm the president of Society in Action, and Ambassador Dolia is the founder of Society in Action. We support the community at large, locally and internationally. That's why we can come and ask for your help, for your assistance in regards to this family in need. So any way that you can help, please just reach out so we can lend a hand, because our goal, I have to figure out what is the next thing that I can do to raise this $5,000 to help these families in need, to support them. I know time is hard for everybody. Everybody's going through challenges. Everybody's going through difficult time. And that's why I said, whatever God put in your heart to give, to support them, to please do it so that we can help them. Ambassador Dolia, please, okay, I guess I'll call you after that, because there was something we were supposed to follow up on for these same 10 families. So I'll remind you afterwards so we can make the connections to see who is able to help, who is willing to help, so that we can do what we can do. Because I believe schools open in October in Haiti, just before the school opens, so we can have the funds available and ready to send to the point of contact for the distribution. Okay, we've been talking about health and wellness as well, okay, because your health is your wealth. With everything going on, a lot of people are suffering with anxiety, depression, and some people may even have suicidal thoughts. So I'm reminding you to please do take care of yourself. If you do have these thoughts, find somebody you trust that you can talk to, or go check yourself into a hospital so that you can get the help that you need. Because there must be one thing that you want to keep fighting for. One thing. There must be one thing that keeps you alive and gives you the drive and the determination to keep on fighting. To keep on fighting, to continue to push forward. So whatever the challenges are, whatever it is that you're going through, don't give up. Find that one thing that keeps you going. Find that one thing that keeps you alive. Find that one thing that gives you hope, okay? Because hope keeps us alive. There's certain things that I would never do, because I'm thinking, what would happen to X, Y, and Z if I was to do A, B, C, right? Because everything you do in life has consequences, and you don't know how it's going to impact or affect other people in your lives. Just like that shooting that happened in Utah, you see all these college students there. What is the psychological effect that it's going to have on these young people? Even those of you watching it live, because not everything gets live stream. Everybody has a phone, has a camera, has a recorder, something that you can see what's going on out there. Okay? So yeah. So just take care of yourself. Your health is your wealth. I shared previously that I do the intermittent fasting for mental clarity, to help me to focus, to help me to regain control of my surrounding, of my environment. And this morning, as I was getting ready, something crossed my mind. I'm not going to share, but I'm just saying, something crossed my mind, and I said to myself, you are a leader. Why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z? Because I think that should work, right? So it crossed my mind. I'm like, okay, I will try that. I will try that. And then we'll see what happens. Because I'm always thinking about ways to do better, ways to make myself better. I don't like to get upset. I don't like to get angry, because I just don't like it. I just don't like it. And that's why I kind of like to protect my space, like to protect my environment, try to protect myself from who I allow to come in. If the person is not going to bring positive energy, is not going to contribute to my betterment, to my wellness, I kind of put up a wall or close that person out, because my mental health, my well-being is truly extremely important to me. And you should put yourself first when it comes to your health, to your wellness, to your well-being, because you cannot pour from an empty vessel. If you are empty, you cannot give anything back. And if somebody bring negative energy towards you, you're gonna spit out that negative energy back at them. Sometimes I find myself using certain language, and I'm like, girl, that's not you. But it's just the vibe, the energy that is coming from that direction, that cause you to speak a certain way, that cause you to carry yourself a certain way. And then you're like, that's not who you are. What are you doing? What are you talking about? So that's why you have to protect your space, your environment, who you are at all costs. So today I'm inviting you, I'm encouraging you to do one thing to make yourself feel good, to make yourself feel better, to help you get clarity, to help you to focus, whatever the case might be, whatever it is. And yesterday I shared that there were certain things that I was going to do. I did most of them except for one, because I still feel like it's not a priority, but I should do it because I said I would do it, is getting those plaques for my program director. But everything else that I said I was going to do, I did. And when you write things down, it helps you. I did that and more. So I am proud of me completing those tasks, because they were important for me to do. So I took care of that, and I say kudos to myself. Okay, so today one thing I did not do, I did not go outside to get my juice, because the weather was not that nice yesterday. But what did I do? Yeah, I did get up and walk around a little bit around in the hospital. You know, you could walk a marathon inside of a hospital, because these hospitals are so big. You can walk a marathon in there. So yesterday I did quite a few things, so I feel accomplished. Today I'm going to set new goals. So today I'm going to be intentional about ordering those plaques. I'm going to be intentional about going outside to get my juice. And one of the things this week, as I said, I was looking at my finances. I haven't been out. Have I been out to purchase coffee this week? Because I've been making my coffee at home. Okay, I bought my stuff and I made it at home. So I haven't been doing much purchases. And I also, did I bring my food? I also prepared my food at home. I have my fresh strawberries in the office. I have some oranges for my snack. I have my wasa biscuit, and I still have some chicken breast. Oh my goodness, that is so delicious. It is so good. So I ate that yesterday. I was so good yesterday. Kudos to me. I did not eat. I was so tempted to eat stuff that was not that's not good for me. I was so tempted, but I held on. Guys. I held on. So I ate my chicken yesterday for lunch with my wasa biscuit, and I had my orange. this morning as I go in my office, I have some fresh strawberries. I put them in the freezer so they can be nice and frozen, because I'm going to make a fresh strawberry smoothie. To help me, and I'm going to put some collagen, I'm going to put some charge, I'm going to put some vitamin 4, Omni 4 multivitamin in there to keep me going for the day. I haven't taken my drops yet this morning. I'm about to do that because I got up extremely early this morning and I started doing other stuff before. So once I'm done with the live feed, I'm going to take my drops to keep me on track, and I'm gonna take my vitamins. So I'm gonna be extremely intentional. I'm gonna be taking it day by day, and I'm not gonna be hard on myself. No, I told you guys, do not be hard on yourself. Take it day by day and celebrate every small wins. Okay, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, okay, girl, you have a little hole coming here. Maybe you're doing something, and I'm looking at, and as I said, sometimes when we do health and wellness, we like, oh, I want to lose X, Y, and Z pounds in a day or a week, and then once the scale is not moving, you get like, oh my goodness, it's not happening. But you fail to look at the inches that you're losing off your body, off your waistline. And then I'm standing, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, girl, you're getting there. So, and then you can feel it in your clothing. You don't have to be so rigid with yourself. You can just make small adjustments, small changes every day until you get to the point to the point where you want to be. They always say it's a lot harder to do the right thing, right? Being on a healthy lifestyle, it's hard, it's challenging, and it's also expensive. So you have to know your why you want to do it. You must know your why you want to do it. With that, you'll have that motivation to keep you focused, to keep you going. Right? I know my why I want to do it. Am I doing it as intensely that I would like to do it? No, but guess what? I'm trying to be as consistent as I can every day. And I said to you guys, I will be transparent when I'm doing something. I will tell you, because we must learn to be real. We need to stop selling people fake news to portray something out there, but inside the house is something completely different. We need to show people sometimes the challenges that we go through, the steps that we take, how we fail, and how we bounce back up. Okay, sometimes we need to show people these things so that they know, oh, you didn't just wake up today and you're a CEO. No, these are the steps that you had to take in order for you to get where you are today. Okay, so I'm encouraging you today to be a little transparent. Whatever you're doing, tell people or show people if you believe that whatever it is that you're doing is going to help you to grow, or it's going to help the community at large to grow as well. Okay, so let's learn to be more real and stop being what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think about that. I can't think of it. Yeah, stop portraying someone that you're not just for the sake to look good, but deep down inside you have a lot going on. Because some of you may like, girl, what are you talking? Yeah, we have to learn to be transparent. We have to learn to be transparent. We must learn to be honest. We must learn to call it for what it is, because when we are honest with people, we help them to grow. But when we keep bothering things up for people, you're not helping them to grow. Be honest. When somebody does something and it's not right, we must have the courage to tell them what you did is wrong. Because if you don't call it out, if you don't tell the person, you could still find a nice way to tell somebody what you did was wrong. But when you let somebody know what you did was wrong, or you find a nice way to point it out to them, you giving that person an opportunity to grow. But if somebody's doing nonsense, they're doing things that are not so kosher, and you keep supporting that behavior, you're not helping the person to grow. You're only allowing them to become a bigger mediocre than they are. Excuse my French, right? Because we're not pouring into that person to let them know, hey, maybe you need to change that behavior. Hey, maybe you need to look at X, Y, and Z, see if you could do it differently. right? It's because we're supposed to help each other to grow. So let's stop supporting other people's poor behavior. Let's stop applauding to other people's poor behavior. Let's start encouraging people to do better. Okay? Let's start encouraging people to look into the mirror. That's one thing I've been saying lately. I've been saying that you should write down the things that you did and see the effect of what you did, the outcome of what you did, and do a check and balance to see if what you did was right or if it was wrong, right? Or for you to see, well, could have handled this differently? Could I have done a better job addressing it or handling it, instead of enabling poor behavior, instead of enabling people psychological defect, right? Bonjour Tonton Patrick. Aujourd'hui, message yeah. Instead of enabling people's psychological defect, we must learn to call it for what it is. Supporting poor behavior, enabling poor behavior is not doing anybody a favor. It's only causing more aches and pain than addressing it. Okay? The longer you allow something to linger around, the more hurt, the more pain that it's going to cause. So we must learn to address the issue. We must learn to call it for what it is and stop enabling poor behavior. Okay? Stop enabling poor behavior. So let's encourage each other to grow. Let's encourage each other to do the right thing and be supportive of one another, but stop enabling poor behavior. Okay? Anyway, it is 9:38. I need to find my way into my office. So I'm wishing you all a wonderful day. Be blessed. Let's get up. Let's get active. Let's get moving. And if you want to support our brothers and sisters in Haiti who are in need, please feel free to reach out to me so we can help one another. Okay? We can help one another. So, have a wonderful day. As I always end my morning talk with you, remember that Jesus loves you. And your number one coach, your favorite coach, Coach Shirley, loves you as well. So have a wonderful day. Be blessed. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on our daily morning talk. Ciao. See you later. Bye-bye. And don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe. That's the best way you can support me. Thank you. Bye-bye.